Kings, queens, everybody between. I think you know what it's time for. It's your favorite podcast, Clout.WAV. And today we have something special to talk about. And it's not good. It's special, but it's not good. But before we get to that, let's talk about what is good all the time. Subtle Fraudulence, how you doing, brother? Are you doing okay? Has the neighborhood been good to you?
I mean, sure, the neighborhood's been fine. You know, it's been nice and fine over here.
So they got that gym thing worked out?
The what now?
The gym?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
okay.
The funny thing about that is like, mysteriously, the gym was just like not open for a while, even though they were like, no, we had a problem with the door and we fixed it. So like, don't worry about it. Forget whatever we said about closing it. And so because it was closed, I was like, I sent like a little email and I was like, hey, is there something wrong with the gym? Are you guys gonna open it, or like what's going on with that? And then like a couple of days later, it just opened up. So I was like, oh, all right, well, I never got a response, but hey, if they were like, oh shit, we close it, then whatever, man, you don't gotta tell me anything.
Hey, look, sometimes you don't have to be the most informed man. You just have to be the person to remind someone to get something done. Someone who probably read that email was like, oh, shit, I was supposed to open that shit. Well, let me slide over. And if I don't answer the email, he can never tell that I saw the email. That's the best way to go about it. There's no read receipts on email.
It's like people are like, if I just don't talk about this thing, then I don't ever have to acknowledge it. Like Kanye fans. Like current day Kanye fans.
Look, out of sight, out of mind. But you want to know wasn't out of sight nor out of mind? The acorn from above. Like, how does that work? How is it that you are a cop? You're supposed to go through training, rigorous training at that. You're supposed to be the best of the best. You're supposed to be let's get the air quotes out here, an elite task force for public service. You're supposed to actually go out there and serve your community. You are supposed to have the best interest of not only the people around, but the safety concerns of, the people who you're going to be putting in the back of your vehicles, especially when they have complied. You've searched them. You know they don't have any weapons on them because you did your due diligence and you did your job as an officer. So what I want to know is, how do you do a Dark Souls roll? Tear your ACL. Confuse that for you getting shot. And then say, the shots are coming from inside the vehicle. This isn't a 90s horror movie. There is no, the call is coming from inside the house. That's not how this goes. Everything that you put in the backseat of that car, you put there. Officer. You put there. So unless he randomly opened up a portal out of his ass cheeks and said, here's my trusty 9mm, and then somehow shot with all the windows up, without opening the door, and had a bullet that could somehow go through the material of the car, hit you in the ankle.
Like, sir, this happened in Okaloosa County. Do you know where that is? It's in the one spot in all of America where maybe you could believe that those things actually happen.
No,
Florida.
Man, this ain't Florida.
That's right.
No,
it's Florida. It's Florida. No. It's in Florida. So when I first saw the video, I was like, "Oh, damn! Did I miss something?" Because he's like, "This shit's weird." And I'm like, "Oh shit! Is there an invisible bullet on the screen? Like, where's the guy? Hey, what? What's going on? Is he shooting a ghost?" He starts shooting his car.
Want to know what's really funny about it, though?
What?
Which is like truly insane to me. Like it's one of the things I just don't get about the video. When you first watch it and you see like the high quality variants of it going on, it starts off with this black truck just flying by. It looks like it could have rolled through a stop sign. So I'm over here thinking, oh, it must be the truck. Has to be the truck he's looking at. I didn't hear any gunshots, but okay. But then he gets up and turns around, and I was like, maybe this guy's got like low blood sugar or something, like, because maybe he did the roll and he got dizzy and he started facing the wrong way. I mean, we see it in football.
Progressively gets more and more confusing because, like, after he hears this alleged gunshot, he takes out his gun and starts shooting the car that's in front of him, the cop car. So I'm like, sir, are you trying to blow up your car? Like, is he behind it? Like, what's going on? I thought, because like towards the end of the video, there's like a red car that's like on the right that's kind of like, you know, swerving a little bit and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, oh, that's the guy right there, and he's trying to like come back in and maybe, I don't know, hit the cops or some shit like that, some crazy thing. And it's like, no, it just ended, and it turned out that man was just fighting his own demons. So
no, but it's the fact that he
listen, this is a good example of why people advocate for gun control, right? No one's trying to take our guns. We're all just trying to make sure that that man in that video should not have a gun, because after you see all that shit going on, it's like, sir, did the fentanyl get you? Like, what's happening right now?
But you saw the other body cam angle, right?
It's worse. You just see some dude fucking Dark Souls fat rolling on the screen. Shots fired. They hit me, and I'm like, sir, you're not hit. What is happening?
And then he's just randomly just tapping the trigger. He's going full send on the trigger. Every bullet, everything he's got,
bro,
he's putting in
unloaded the clip, reloaded it, shot some more. I'm like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing?
Rolled over to his side, hit some Rainbow Siege, some Rainbow Six Siege Angels, and was like, yeah, we got it now. And then
he was so paranoid that the other person was convinced that there had to be someone there, even though they're right, that they can see that there's nobody. They're still like,
look,
where's
bro, look, it had to be the wind because nobody wasn't there. Shout out to Sonic Adventure 2.
Also,
worst lyrics ever.
Another reason why they should not have like a gun, let alone a badge, but like they should definitely not have guns, is because two people, they thought that it was someone that they arrested in their cop car who was letting off the shots, and they shot at the car and missed the person. Two of them missed the person who was handcuffed inside of a car. Like,
no, you gotta understand.
No way.
You gotta understand. 100% suppressing fire. They were never. They were aiming to maim, not kill.
Suppressing fire. The way that man was shooting, that there's no suppression involved in that. There's no way. That man was fighting for his life.
We talking about that man was about to suppress somebody's life force. That's what he was shooting at.
He tried and he missed. That alone should be like, sir, you're suspended. Actually,
but did you see the crawl of shame when that man tried to crawl to cover?
You know, have you seen season 1 of Community when they had the John Oliver episode with the like experiment where they're like, invite your friend here and tell them that we're going to do an experiment, and then we just never tell them that the waiting is the experiment. The part where Donald Glover just starts like crawling off the screen with his legs dragging, that's exactly what I thought when the dude was trying to like crawl over to cover. It just looked so similar, and the whole time, like, I had to watch the video again because I didn't hear anything, and then like I saw people being like, "Oh, it was an acorn," which you confuse that with gunfire. I'm sorry, a gun, even a silenced gun, is so much louder than an acorn falling down anywhere.
Like, look, I know this Kirby figure is not an acorn, but like hardwood desk, even if I just threw it down really hard, who's thinking shots fired?
It's like there's no way. Like, you're bad at your job. Like, there's no other way to explain it now. You're bad at your job. And it's not even like, you could take away the missed shots. You could take away assuming that it was someone who was already like, restrained inside of a cop car that they can't get out of. Like, you can take all that stuff away and they're still bad at their job for hearing an acorn fall and assuming it's gunshots. Like, sir, you don't know what gunshots sound like? That's part of the training. Like,
and listen, we've seen people actually shoot gunshots and have trained officers have the suspect at gunpoint, and they still know how to talk them down, put the gun down. You know, my man said,
I too watched Law and Order.
My man said he was hit, and I was like, I know you've probably never been shot before, officer, but the pain that you're experiencing clearly is not on the level of a gunshot wound. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Oh man, you have to get into that too. This guy's over here saying that he got shot, but like, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of like hysteria and anxiety going on in his brain, but like a gunshot is never gonna, be something that you can get confused. You know what I mean? Like,
He said,
like
I'm hit,
maybe
I'm hit, I'm hit. Just starts crawling. I'm like, what? Brother, no. Where do they do that at? Because, I mean, obviously Florida, but
you
if
know what I
it.
thought of?
Mm.
The videos of the cops being like, the fentanyl, they got me. Damn.
Bro, I
Oh.
thought we were getting Reno 911 in Florida, bro. That's what I thought this was at first. I was like, oh, this is a sketch. It has to be a skit. They call it Acorn Cop, and I'm like, this. Like at first, I was like, okay, this is weird because I was like, if it's real, he must have thought it was somebody else, and maybe he got spun around. Then it
Right.
was, this has to be Reno 911 because look, I've seen cops be incompetent at their job, but this is taking the cake and the piss.
Talk about a show ahead of its time. All they had to do was wait a couple of years for cops to get body cams, and then that show would be another success because of the fact that it's a parody of like, incompetent officers. But like, I think there's actually a Reno 911 sketch that's that particular situation. So they knew ahead of time. They just predicted the future. Like maybe we need them to like tell us who to invest in, or like who's gonna win the election or something, like cause what the fuck? Okay. The good part of the story is that after this video got out and I guess maybe some like investigating was done, the cop who was doing all the rolling and whatnot, he resigned. They probably would not have fired him, which sucks. But
That man
resigned.
went straight up to the to his superiors and said, "Listen, I ain't got that dog in me. Clearly,
Look,
clearly
whatever is going on in his life. I mean, I know he lives in the PvP zone, so like he's always on edge. But like whatever is going on in his life, he had to like really take a look inside and understand it's time to take a break. It's time to like get away from that job and do something a little bit simpler.
Go home and be a family man." Because fighting crime is not for you. It's not. In any
they
level.
Missed.
I mean, here's the thing. That's the good ending.
Yeah.
Now, it says that you're even worse at your job because you know exactly where you put the perp. So technically, if you would have hit him, I would assume that you had the facilities to do so. Although, let's be honest. Could you imagine you're in the back of a squad car and you're just kind of just sitting there? Bang, 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 and the glass shatters behind you.
Yeah. Imagine you got arrested because like, they thought you had like weed on you or some dumb shit like that. And you're sitting in this car, you're handcuffed. You're most likely going to go and get a fine and then get released. No questions asked. But now all of a sudden you're getting shot at because the cop thinks that you pulled out a gun that somehow is on you and was hidden well enough for their search. And now you're just shooting at them while they're reporting to.
He got the Gooch pistol.
Because, like, I think originally the two cops were there to respond to a call of possible like shots being fired or like a possible like disturbance in the area.
No, what they were called there for was apparently the suspect's girlfriend said that they stole her car. That's what they were there for. Because she didn't know where her car was, and they said, nah, he definitely got it.
And can you imagine being the suspect there? Seeing like, just trying to be like, yeah, my boyfriend has the car. Can you please find him and bring my car back? I need that, for my life or whatnot. And then all of a sudden, where? And you're like right next to the cop who's like, where is he? And it's like, there's nothing there. What's going on? You know what? I'll find my car. You guys go ahead and go home and get some rest or something, because there's no way. There's no way I'm gonna see all of that happen and be like, yeah, but they're gonna find my car for me, and it's gonna be in great shape too.
But look, man, I think I'm threatened for my life, and I pull out the Glock and I just start going to town on some vehicle. I guarantee you, I do not have the diplomatic immunity or the protections by the law to stop me from so much as being fully investigated thoroughly to the point to where I need to lawyer up.
Yeah.
This man is going to get to resign and go about his life like it was just another Tuesday afternoon.
No punishment. Could have killed some people. He definitely endangered the people who were like standing outside as he was shooting in their direction. Shit, man. So many things. So many things done wrong. So many things that I'm pretty sure were like against whatever training he was supposed to have in the first place. And the main thing you're supposed to do in those situations is not lose your cool. Like, you know, keep calm and assess the danger properly so that no accidents happen. You know, no casualties are had.
Listen, if you go balls to the walls, you too can be an officer of the law by being, and I can't believe I'm saying this, taking an 11-week course over 408 hours.
Online?
Hey, now, I ain't say nothing about online.
But hey, yes, remember, we live in Atlanta. Cop City is coming, allegedly.
Yeah, the Georgia Public Safety Training Center or Georgia Peace Officer Standards or the Training Council or POST, in other words. Yeah, all you need is an 11-week course and accumulate 408 hours. And your qualifications that you need to be at least 18 years old, be a citizen of the United States, have a high school diploma or its equivalent, not have been convicted of a crime for which punishment could have been imprisonment. Contact the GPSTC Regional Academy you wish to attend, undergo a background check, complete an entrance exam, register as a new user on the Georgia Post website, and begin the post application process. Complete as much of the application as possible. Be fingerprinted. Undergo a basic physical and psychological examination. I don't think this guy would have been able to make it. And be interviewed by the manager of the GPSTC Regional Academy where you will be training. Then just 11 weeks and $3,000 worth of tuition. And then some fees that depend on $130 to $270 depending on location. And yeah, you can get the ball rolling. $3,000 in a dream. You can get a gun and a badge.
Wow, that's scary. Yeah, but I mean, I think you guys can see now why people are a little bit on edge about such things, because what the fuck was any of that police work done there? All right, look, Elliot Stabler would never.
Look, when you got to start busting out Law and Order characters to justify what's going on, man.
Here's a funny fact about Law and Order, at the very least SVU. Elliot Stabler has mentioned in at least one episode of the show his actual like conviction rate, which is like over 90%. The average conviction rate of a cop is nowhere close to that. It's like closer to like 20 or 30%. Well, so you kind of want some Elliot Staplers out there, even though he's also the cop who like beat people up and like spit on them and shit. Like, but you know, what was the phrase that they used in the earlier episodes? Yeah, I'm gonna just tune them up a little bit over here. Like, oh my god, somehow that is better than what we saw in that video. The reality is somehow a little bit worse. But hey, hopefully those people in that video got their car.
We can only hope. Yo, what if he was innocent? That'd be wild. If he's not even the one that took the car.
Bro.
That'd be some insane shit. But you know what's the sad part? I saw they were living in townhouses, like a little townhome community, and it's like, man, yeah, if he would have got shot, he'd been able to get a huge payday. Huge. It's crazy. He's probably going home like, man, maybe I should have jumped into the bullets. Just a little bit.
That's a risk, but also, goddamn, man, how fucked is our society that you gotta jump into some police brutality in order to make your life better? Like, Jesus.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. Speaking of crazy, I don't know if you guys heard about the flight coming to America from I want to say it was the Netherlands, but there was a flight, Delta Airlines, 2 hours it came from Amsterdam. 2 hours into the flight. All of a sudden, everyone goes, what's that smell? Why are all these white pussy things crawling all over me? Are these maggots? Yes. Maggots fell out of an overhead carry-on luggage because someone had a bunch of raw fish gone bad in the overhead compartment. Now look, Netherlands. Walk with me, talk with me. I understand that not everybody has the American standard of a TSA. They don't have the crazy variant of the TSA that our northern brethrens in Canada have. But I'm gonna need y'all to, like, international, y'all not supposed to be able to bring meat. Whether it's in tinfoil cooked, already raring to go. Much less raw fish in your carry-on bag?
Yeah, what's the explanation for this? Like, so it wasn't in. It obviously was not in some kind of like freezer pack.
Well, no, here's the thing. He ended up being detained afterwards.
Of course.
So like clearly no one let him get on the plane like this. So I want to know, how did this even happen in the first place?
Listen, man. Not every country has had their 9/11, and I get that, but security's got to be at least, competent enough to know to smell the fish. To smell the rotting fish.
How did the people on the flight not smell it? How did the people at the terminals not smell it?
Maybe the bag is like, some kind of like heavy duty thing that like insulated enough of the smell. But I believe the maggots were in the bag when it was being brought on the plane. So,
because here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? You look this up, and it'll tell you things that are not permitted to be brought on a plane. And this is from one of their websites, by the way, just in case you didn't know. One of the first things that you see on here is you can't bring drinks, tobacco, certain medicines, meat, fish, products made of protected animal and plant species, as well as obviously large sums of cash. These are not allowed through customs and or hand baggage. He got it through both.
Yeah.
Ow. But imagine like you're just on the plane and like you're just an unwilling participant. You have no idea this is happening. You got your earphones in, you got your buds in, and you over here jamming. You listen to that new Kanye, bro. Which, don't listen to the new Kanye, bro. But you listening to it, you enjoying yourself, and all of a sudden, you feel something wet hit you. And then it starts moving. And then it's just maggots all over you. Like, you gotta understand, most people don't know what a maggot is. Like, they know what it is when obviously they see it like on social media. But like to see it in person? That's gotta be an out-of-body experience because a lot of you are used to seeing it through a camera lens. Not in person, because y'all don't like do gardening things. Much less in raw fit. Like, it wasn't just the maggots that probably fell out. I would assume there had to be some decaying fish meat that also seeped out. And I don't know if you've ever smelled fish gone bad, especially in bulk. I don't even want to talk about this anymore because just the thought is almost making me dry heave right now.
It's a bad smell. Yeah, that shit was disgusting. Hopefully, actually, Delta probably didn't compensate anyone or do anything like that.
No. They gave them all 50K fly miles.
Wow, so I can get on another Delta flight. Oh, great. Awesome. Excellent.
So you want to know the sad part about that?
What?
50K flight miles is only about $560 to $600. Which means, yeah, you get about one flight.
Mm-hmm.
You got maggoted.
Not even round trip. You can get there and then you have to pay to come back.
Yeah, especially if you're flying international, if you're flying to like California or like some big metropolitan area, you might spend $750. They could be like, yeah, so we know we put maggots on you, but you gonna have to come out of pocket again for your next flight.
Like, what what in the world was this man supposed to be doing? Like, is this supposed to be like some kind of like smuggle job, or like was he was this just the way that he thought was best to bring the food home to like actually like eat it for himself, or like what? Did no one tell him to just get a freezer bag and put some ice in there or something, like a cooler, anything, man? Anything. I'm sure he didn't want to check a bag and then pay whatever extra fee is required for that. But bro, the fish is ruined now. So like, what was the point? Like,
The aircraft, was obviously removed from service, so they can get some.
And burned. They had to have burned it. I mean, like, what else are you gonna do? It's infected now.
Oh man, it's wild.
I just look. I hope they get to the bottom of this and figure out what in the world that guy was doing. But like, common sense, people, common sense. Don't put fish in a bag and store it in any sort of like compartment on a plane where the altitudes are going to change. Like, don't just like hope that it's going to be so cool on the plane that the fish is not going to go bad. But also, the maggots were in the bag when he got on there, so wherever he took it from,
Was already
the fish
dirty.
was already. Yeah, it was already dirty and the fish was already fucked up. Did he buy shitty fish? The story just gets deeper and deeper, man. Like, I just like, if you bought the fish like that, then maybe he's doing it for some nefarious deed. Maybe there's something going on that we don't know about.
I'm sorry. It's so much worse.
Uh-huh.
It's so much worse. Travelers who were delayed overnight because of the incident were compensated with hotel accommodations, a $30 meal ticket, which is like a basic meal at the airport, and 8,000 air miles. So no, excuse me. You got about $80. Oh.
Listen,
Oh,
I know there are
dude.
lots and lots of people who are like, oh, traveling is so great. Oh man, you gotta want to travel. Like, you want to see the world, you want to do all this travel. This could be you. Like, this is the cost of your wanderlust here.
Remember that one flight that got sent back? What was it?
Because of the dude that like
the
shat
diarrhea
himself?
man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man was like, oh, it's coming.
It's like, why did that guy even get on the plane? First and foremost, like,
bro, they have 2 restrooms on the plane. He could have found one. He could have made it. I refuse. That man was sitting there going, I can hold it. I can hold it. I can hold it. I can't hold it.
Don't even try. That's my thing. Like, just don't even try it. Just don't take the risk. See, these things are all happening from people taking risks that they don't need to take. This guy took the risk with some like fish that he thought maybe he could get home and clean up and then cook, instead of just throwing it away as soon as it got bad before he got on the plane. That guy thought, oh yeah, don't worry, it'll only be a couple of minutes and then I can, go to the restroom, or like, hey, yeah, no, I can hold it for like the couple of hours that this flight is. I'll be okay. And then immediately ruined and traumatized many people, including the people who just keep watching the video. Like, listen, I see a video that has like captions that say this man had diarrhea and it was all over the plane. I'm not watching the video. I'll see the thumbnail and I'm like, oh, I get it. No, I don't need to see it. Exactly.
Once again, this is a case of, I don't have to be shot with a gun to know that the bullet hurts. I'll believe you.
Hey, according to that cop, maybe you have to now. Like, maybe you have to.
Oh no! Wow, that's tough. That was a real good jab. That's what we call a callback in the business.
Like, what is going on these days, man? There's always a crazy story.
You tell me, because I go on Twitter today, and the first thing I see is everyone's talking about Too Mad. And the last thing that I had heard about Too Mad was apparently him and Belle Delphine did something where he was wearing a Donkey Kong monkey suit while they did some lewd photo shoot or something to that effect.
That was him? Oh.
Yeah, that was Too Mad.
Okay, well, I mean, I knew that guy was like a shit stirrer or like a shithead, but like, God, some
And
of the things he
then,
did.
and the other thing that I knew that he did was apparently he had one of those. He was one of the people that got real viral for the "I go to sleep and you guys try to wake me up with random sounds on a soundboard" chat type
Oh,
streams. Now, all the other stuff that he does as far as content creation was concerned, none of it's up my avenue. None of the stuff he's ever done is up my avenue. So I don't really know much about him. So I'm not going to speak on him like
wait, hold on, sir. Hold on, man. I've heard that he's a very famous Overwatch clip editor. I mean, you love Overwatch, so you know, there you go.
I'm
See,
not gonna hold you. I'm
there's
not
the
gonna hold
end.
you. I'm not gonna hold you. I've seen plenty of Overwatch content. I've seen plenty of Overwatch content creators, from Somju to Flats to various others, whether it's Samito or Valkyrie. I've seen a lot of people, even though Valkyrie is not necessarily mainly a primarily Overwatch streamer. I've seen even more of their Overwatch clips than I have of Too Mad, because I've never seen a Too Mad Overwatch clip. But I
Hey, man.
digress.
You've seen next UC Overwatch clip before you've seen the Too Bad Overwatch clip, huh?
Well, XQC was an Overwatch League player. Of course I've seen him play it. He was at least pro at the damn game. But regardless, I've seen a lot of people come out with their stories, and they're not on his behalf. They are not on his side. We've
Well,
seen
first
him
and
do.
foremost, we got to say this because you know I don't think we got to that part yet. But like the first thing I saw about this was, oh, Two Mad is actually dead, and I was like, huh? Like I saw a post of someone, a screenshot of like a TMZ thing, and it said, "Oh, Two Mad is actually dead," and I thought, "Oh, this is a meme. Let me actually see what Two Mad did this time," and it's like Two Mad is dead.
Yeah,
Oh,
apparently he took his own life with overdosing on medication. Now, we don't
yep,
know if overdosing on medication was his plan to exit, because as we've seen from some of the stories and testimonials brought forth today by various other people who knew him, they said that his plan was OD until he can't feel anything anymore, and then get on the road and take someone with him in a car accident.
yep.
We have seen people say things like he was grooming 13-year-olds. They have pictures of him with DMs saying he's going to be getting with an 11-year-old. He's been quoted in certain DMs with certain screenshots with proof where he says things like, "I can't wait to rape you." This is a direct quote, by the way. And then sometimes throwing in "with a minor." I don't really understand why he would also throw in the double whammy, but he does on his own accord, unprovoked. He volunteers
He
this information.
listen. When I say shithead, I mean this to the umpth degree. He is that guy who will say all the fucking 4chan Reddit words just to like have people pay attention to him. And like some girls have like posted some of their DMs of him talking to himself in their inbox or whatever. And yeah, he 100% is that guy who will do anything to get a rise out of people. And it
From saying things like, "I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to rape you, I'm going to sexually assault you," and just because you're not of age doesn't mean that you are exempt from the too mad shit posting list, because we've seen 11-year-olds get it, 13-year-olds get it. He's taken screenshots of 13-year-olds' pictures that were not meant to be sexualized, sexualizing them, and then saying things like, once again, as I alluded to earlier, "I can't wait to rape you." You have to understand, this is not a fully mentally developed individual. This is somebody who I would probably say is better off in the place that he finds himself now. But it's very strange that there are so many documentations of this behavior, this abhorrent, repulsive behavior. And I'm thinking to myself, if there's like 20 to 30 of you who are apparently afraid of this person, people who said that he does X, Y, and Z, and plenty of you all knew about it, I'm surprised that like y'all didn't get this dude out of whatever streaming communities that y'all may have partook in earlier. Like, I just don't understand how someone who can truly be that much of a cancer, or that much of a tumor, or a blight on a group of people can still find ways to be around for years.
Sir, allow me to introduce you to this website called kick.com. That is where you can do your research to find out how anybody who does half the things that 2Mad has done can continue to have a thriving career and make lots and lots of money off of people who enjoy that kind of behavior and may partake in that kind of behavior themselves.
See, I hear you, and that is why I made the tweet that I made earlier today. The 2Mad situation, if not just the Kick situation or people like Ice Poseidon still running amok, it should teach us all something. If clout is involved, everything is on the table. There is nothing that is forbidden. There are no rules. Bullying, violent threats, grooming, becoming a serial toucher, theft, gaslighting, rape, various other things. Hell, molestation, trying to go viral and profit off of somebody dying. All of it has the green light in the name of garnering some clout. Let them cook.
Look, the Vosh situation in and of itself has proven that if someone is loyal enough or if their brain is broken enough, they will defend literally anything. Anything in order to continue getting the content.
Hold on. Why is any kind of assault on the table? Because at the end of the day, if it's not affecting the viewers' personal lives, they're all for the chaos. Look, I don't care about Boogie at all. I think Boogie's one of the dumbest people that I've ever had to interact with at any point in my life. But I'll also tell you this. He doesn't deserve to have people coming up to in front of his house talking about they're going to shoot him. But people were like, funny meme. So yeah, it's on the table in the land of clout because most of these content creators know if they throw somebody else under the bus, all they skeletons might be unearthed as well. And you don't know who you clicked up with. Sometimes until it's way too late.
Yeah. As far as the situation goes, there's always going to be some edgelord who thinks that like the shit that 2Mad says is like really cool and edgy, or like you're just being woke and sensitive. That's why you don't understand. He's just doing jokes, that sort of thing. But his death also proves that it's not always just jokes. Some of this shit is real. Some of it is him being serious. And you may think that he's joking about like assaulting somebody and like all these talking kids and all this other shit. You may think it's all jokes, but that dude was 100% serious. And listen, now we know.
And listen, believe me when I tell you, we have seen this time and time again. I could say, you know what, subtle fraudulence, I'm gonna rape you, and we go yuck 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 yuck. Then I could say someone in my chat, I'm gonna do it to you too, chuck 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 chuck. But then I say it to someone who like I mean it, and then someone will be like, this is what B+ said to me, and then the two people who I said it to before will be like, that's just that B+ster. He's just a chuckster. He's just pulling your chain. Don't take it so serious. And then you let your guard down, and then it's cooked. Now you let the demon out because everyone else thought it was a game. It's a great manipulation.
This is why
it happens.
This is why our society has progressed to a point where we're not going to fall for that. So,
no, we aren't going to fall for that. But there are some people in the content creator space. They are dumber than a sack of straws.
Well, we're not. We're talking about the general public here. Once the general public gets the details, they're like, no. I don't even care if that's like an attempt to be a joke. We're not playing those games here. Like,
you're not funny.
Yeah, see? There you go. Some people need to understand that they're not funny. But hey, too many people told that guy he's funny, and he thought that was the way to continue making his money, to continue having his fame, getting whatever it is he wanted, even though obviously he wasn't told no enough times to like understand how to mature from like rejection, how to take rejection properly. And so he just, I don't know, became deranged. And I'm sure there are like other like streamers out there and other like people out there who have similar stories that can be told about them not taking no for an answer and deciding that they should just act out or become very deranged instead of just being like, oh, I see. All right, I'll leave you alone, or whatever. I'm sure there are tons of stories like this, and like this should be a lesson of like, hey, just let it fucking go. But nah. The only thing that was strange about the 2Mad situation is that he the announcement of his death was not even that fresh for people to just be like, it was a piece of shit. That guy is like, oh,
like the report
like,
came out like
damn.
what was it, like 27 minutes after the report? Someone said, "I can now tell my story. He threatened to get me," and I was like,
No,
"What?"
that guy didn't say he threatened. That guy said he attempted to murder him.
Okay, yep. Like we're talking about like attempted murder, and it's crazy because apparently a lot of people like, yeah, I knew about this, and it's like, y'all have got to do better.
No. The most annoying response is people being like, "Oh, well, if you had all this in the clutch the whole time, why didn't you say stuff to the public?" It's like, one, mentioned that he was talking to the cops, so obviously he at the very least told the cops about the situation, which is what you do. And two, attempted murder means, hey, if I just tell the public, this person knows enough about me to know where I might be to try and attempt to murder me again. And I don't want that. So I'm just gonna kind of deal with it as like subtle as I possibly can. I'm just gonna tell the cops, hey, this guy is up to no good and you need to like do something about it. Gather the evidence that you need so that you can arrest him and get him off the streets, etc. Without deciding to make a YouTube video. Hey guys, YouTuber 2Mad attempted to kill me. That's right. Hey guys, it's me, your favorite YouTuber right here to tell you that 2Mad tried to murder me. Oh my god! Let me give you the details right now. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, it's not that situation, but people just assume that that's the shit that's gonna happen because that's what they do, maybe for a living or whatever. But like, no, situations need to be handled in fucking private, and it's not your business just because you're like obsessed with the drama behind it or whatever. Like, it's someone's real life. It's not your like weird reality TV show or anything like that. It's real fucking life.
Like, look, no matter where you look in the content creator space, you're always going to find weirdos. Like that thread that I showed a few people last night when during the stream, where there was a VTuber who was getting upset on behalf of an artist. I don't know if you heard about the Overwatch YouTuber who's a black VTuber who commissioned art to get a VTuber model from a non-black artist. Apparently, they didn't like the hair. They didn't like how the locks were done. So they went to another artist to get a revision done, even though they told the first artist that everything was good. So the original artist says, God, I hate the vent, but this is really upsetting. I worked for months on their model, and now they're having someone else redraw parts of it without even asking me. Just fuck off. Now, personally, I'm like, well, if this was a commission and you got paid for it, they can do whatever the fuck they want with it. I don't really think it has anything to do with you at that point. Like, you could be upset about it, but they bought it. They purchased it. They could do whatever they want with it.
Now, would the revisions require a cost also? Because that probably is a huge factor.
Well, no, they finished it, and they paid for everything, and just took the model, and then sent it to someone else and say, hey, could you touch this up for me?
No, I mean, like, the person is saying, like, oh, they could have asked me or whatever. But, and, like, I understand that, like, the idea is, like, this person is not going to understand how to do the revisions that I want or whatever. That's why they didn't get it the first time. But,
here's the thing. I've seen the before and after. I can send them to you.
No, yeah. But, like, that person is saying, oh, they could have asked me for revisions and I could have just done it on my original thing that I made for them. But would they charge for that?
Well, here's the thing. The revisions were part of the process. They did do revisions, but apparently at some point, somebody was apparently, this is just apparently, at some point, the original commissioner went, all right, I just don't think you're going to get it.
That makes sense.
And then moved on. So there's two pictures there. If you would like to open them up, I'll put it in the.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what the one on the left is what the non-black person gave them, and the one on the right is the one that they got it changed to. And it's like, I'm pretty sure if you would have just led with, hey, I want more of the Lucio style from Overwatch as opposed to like the braid hybrid, I'm sure they would have been able to get to it, but they didn't. However, the reason why this all blows up is because then the Overwatch content creator, who was the original VTuber, started making this about race and started saying that, of course, I had to go to a black person because you people, blah, 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 blah. And then that got spun into this weird consortium of VTubers, not the person who's making the defense here, but we'll get to them in a second. There are people who are saying things like, and I quote, and this is the reason why I brought it up on my stream yesterday. There was a tweet that says, black people shouldn't be allowed to be VTubers.
Listen, that space does have a lot of cancer going around. All right. It's got a lot of problematic behavior going around. Okay.
Right.
That shit is ridiculous. Saying like, I know some of those people are probably the type who never had someone be like, yo, you can't say that. Calm it down. Hey, whoa. And people are not going to understand what you're saying.
But then the VTuber / cosplayer whose thread this is, she said black people are not the problem. It's not about race. It's the mindset of the person. Trying to make it like don't move this, don't move the goalposts. Keep the main thing. It's
get these centrists out of here.
Right?
Get these centrists the fuck out of here.
Hold on. Then the person who said black people don't belong in VTubing says, true. But when a large amount of people in a given group have the wrong mindset, ... And then that centrist you're talking about liked that tweet. And it's like, so black people shouldn't be VTubers. You say black people are not the problem. They say true, but when a large amount of them are ... And that's the tweet you like? Look, I'm not saying that you saying it. I'm not saying you're coaching it, but you are endorsing it.
Yeah. This is the level of racism that gets the most like annoying responses when called out. It's like if someone didn't directly say I hate black people, but they like the tweet that says black people shouldn't be VTubers, and they're like, what's wrong? Like, I mean, they're causing a problem right now, and I think that if there were less of them in space, we'd have less problems. No, sir, you're going around. Listen,
trust me,
that's a Nazi talking point. Like it's a thing. It's a thing that they use for mental gymnastics.
And just to clarify, person A says black people shouldn't be VTubers. Person B says, hey, don't put this on all black people. This is about one individual. Person A responds to that saying, yeah, but you know how it is when you have a whole group of people with the wrong opinion. It definitely poisons that well. And then person B likes that tweet. You have to understand. It's like one of those soft approvals. What did that Nick Merckx guy say? I'm not over there flipping the batons, not in front of the parade.
Oh man!
But I'm also not in the parade. I'm not in the parade, but I definitely showed up on street level to spectate.
That guy went back to Call of Duty because his morals did not do well for him. Yeah, it's like, I'm sure. Look, the person who liked the tweet probably had the mindset of maybe their thought process is we're just trying to make sure that everyone's okay. Those people who are like, no, it's not about black people or white people. We're all people and we should all get along no matter what. It's like, yeah, that's a nice fairy tale, but like in reality,
hey, yo, go ahead. Go ahead and dap me up, Captain Planet. That's a Captain Planet reply you just gave me right there.
That's the thing. It's a Captain Planet reply, and like you have to remind them, like, no. One of the reasons why Captain Planet was so diverse is because a lot of those people also had like their own like struggles related to where they're from, who they were, their identities in general that just could not be properly addressed in the series. And what is it? It was literally like, let's just combine all of these like groups together to make the super being that is going to save the world. And his goal was to save it from pollution.
We're about to get a Captain Planet VTuber. He may already exist. I don't want to see that.
I'm not going to pay attention to that shit. Look, I learned about VTubers against my will. All right, about the actual VTuber like community, not the people who happen to VTube because they, it's convenient for them on Twitch or anything like that.
Buddy, listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying. Hey, you're not doing good for Black people VTuber relations.
Hey.
Apparently, it's a volatile topic.
Don't you dare do that. First and foremost, the fact that you have to say Black VTuber relations is wild at this point. It's like, why the fuck would you think that saying something like, oh, that's why we should not have Black VTubers is something that anyone is going to co-sign besides a fucking lunatic? Like, what? You can never say that like a certain race.
Hey, shout out to the anime profile pictures. You ain't never gonna see them.
Exactly, because they would never say that in person. They would never say that shit in person.
They look like the first note of the Big Show's theme song. Where?
Like, this shit is so stupid because 9 times out of 10 when you're looking at like a group of like VTubers, anime profile pictures, all that stuff, they have the like centrist mindset of, why can't we all just get along? I don't see race. And it's like, oh, okay, well, it must be nice in that little like bubble of yours, but the rest of us, the ones who go outside do have to deal with that. Here's sometimes.
To say that you don't see race, like, come on now, like, what you trying to say? You don't see people's differences, you don't appreciate people's cultures, like, where does it end?
Listen, when we got to a point in time where people started saying that's also a privilege, that you can just be like, I don't see those differences that we have. I don't need to, like, I don't acknowledge those differences because it's not going to affect me in my life. It's like, that's a blessing for you. That's nice. That's a privilege. Some people literally just exist and they get fucking like attacked, like literally, or like through tweets or through whatever. They just exist. And that's the whole point of like, it being a privilege to be like, hey, I don't have to acknowledge your blackness or your difference from me or whatever. We're cool anyways. It's like, it's like the fucking Pepsi commercial, when the riots are happening and I think Kylie Jenner comes out and just hands the police some Pepsi and it's like, it's all good now. It's like no, it's fucking not. Like, you're gonna turn around and they're gonna beat up everybody who's behind you. Like, come on. It's like, let's be real for a second. Let's not act like those things are just all of a sudden not happening just because you're like, hey, I don't acknowledge it. I don't acknowledge that thing happening in front of me. Like, sorry, but it is.
Look, like, when you say things like, I don't acknowledge what's happening in front of me, I don't see it. Like, get the gif of when Professor Xavier made Magneto relive the Holocaust. Like, I don't know if y'all remember that episode.
Oh.
But nah, you need to see it. That man was going through it.
VTubers are a hard breed. Are you talking about the cartoon or the movie when he made him relive his trauma?
No, the cartoon where Xavier was crawling on the ground. He's like, oh, you think you've got me, huh? Zap.
Listen, Xavier has done some wild shit, especially in the comics. Oh man, especially in the comics. But anyways, the VTuber in the VTuber space is a very unique enough space for you to be like, listen, half the people who are fans and creators in the space are not going to understand the nuances of the conversations they brought on. But hopefully they understand that it is very wrong to say all Black VTubers should not exist or should not be in this space. Like, simple as that. And if you're trying to explain it away to be like, no, I think we should not be calling them black VTubers. I think they're just VTubers, just like me. It's like, no, bro.
Here's the thing about VTubing. The majority of the ones that I've had the displeasure to meet fall into the category of whoever that character is took over their life.
Had to.
And the original, like, if I knew Beth or Susan or Patricia, no, they're Betsy Shark now. We don't know this person anymore. They forgot how to be Betsy. They forgot how to be Patricia. They forgot how to be Keith. They forgot how to do that. Only whatever Insano Flex character they've developed for their online persona remains.
There's a conversation that's happening now about like reality TV doing like a similar thing. And the challenge has this like thing called home turf where they're like interviewing some of the like well-known personalities in the space. And like one of the girls said, because she did like 3 or 4 seasons in a row of this TV show. It is a reality TV show, but she did so many of them and was so burnt out that like it all just kind of molded into her real life. And she just took everything as reality, including like moves that people made in the game where they're like, hey, I'm voting you in because you're a threat or whatever. Or I'm voting you in because I'm doing it or whatever.
So she can't turn it off. She's just the character, full stop.
Full stop. And like could not separate the two until she took an actual break and was like, real life is nothing like what I was experiencing over there, you know. And now that, you know, she's taken a break, she can go back and be like, this is the show and then this is real life. When I leave the show, I'm going to real life, and none of the shit in the show is necessarily real, because we all know reality TV is not as real as we would hope.
Like, the other thing about VTubing that I've observed from some of the people who I know who are VTubers, they typically have something very similar to what idol culture has, to where they acknowledge there's a large portion of their audience, they never want to see this. What we have on screen right now, that's a no-no. You show that, they're going to start a riot in the streets. Whatever you're at, if you go to a Twitch live event, you better be in some booth in the back. And you better have some avatar on the screen or a poster of yourself that's mic'd up that projects your voice through it. Because if they walk in there and they see you, that immersion is ruined. They just can't green eggs and have it. And it's like, that's, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I understand that sometimes not being able to show your face makes you able to be more flexible with your content in some cases. But some of y'all have that mental that's not, it's not a steel trap. Y'all are gravely affected by it.
Forget everything I just said about VTuber stuff. Everything I learned about VTubing and the VTuber community is against my will. And I will continue to just be like, oh, that's wild over there. Anyways, I'm going to just go ahead and continue living my life away from that. Because when you get deep enough in that rabbit hole, it's just too much nonsense from too many people who have not grown up yet, unfortunately. So,
and funny enough, if they get successful enough, they'll never have to.
Yep.
Because they can be 16 forever.
Oh God, no! Whoa!
What?
Wow.
They just don't have to mature. They could just be the same model forever. They'd be like Ash Ketchum. I'm 10 forever. You can't make me grow up. Which, all right, fine, whatever, broski. But speaking of broski time, I don't know if you heard about that FGC situation, because apparently there's a lot of things going around. Apparently there's a Low Tier God is a Groomer documentary that came out last week.
I think that's a gotcha thing. That's a like, oh, I'm going to use Low Tier God's name to like try and like get some clout on my end. It would be pretty surprising. It'd be like more than surprising if that dude with his persona like actually was a groomer. But it seemed like the way it was being pushed was like, this is just another, oh, let's
I
talk about low tier
watched
god type of shit.
I watched about 15 to 20 minutes of it, and it just seemed like essentially I saw there was this weird edit in a video, and I'm gonna over obsess and overanalyze that one edit
There we go.
for like 15 to 20 minutes and try to, divulge some context from there and string it out for an hour. So after like
Mods?
so after 15 minutes, I was like, look, if he was truly 29 and she was 17 at the time, yes, that is very weird. That is very strange. I don't like it. I don't support it. I don't endorse it. But if they met when she was 17 and they didn't start dating until they were 18, you really have nothing here.
Yeah. It's, something that can be considered very, very like creepy and weird, but
And in some
not.
states, unfortunately, that is still very legal.
Yeah. I mean, it is grooming if, he was like.
Now, if he knew them beforehand, like 15,
Right.
14, and was doing it, then yeah, security? Get that melanated gentleman right there. But
if it was like a barely legal situation, like he met her like the day she turned 18 or some shit like that, I mean, that's not grooming because he probably wouldn't have even known.
Now we would have had to know how long that they were, and you don't have that information. Now, what you've done is you've presented a case that if somebody looks into hard enough, they might find something. But I think you should have waited to make the video when you found the something.
Right.
Right now, you have shown us there's the potential that there could be a gun, but you don't have a smoking gun. Now, maybe in like the later half of the video, he actually gets to something concrete. But that's the problem with videos like that. You really got to have good pacing. Otherwise, no one's going to get to it because I saw it was like over an hour long, and I have better things to do with my time than watch somebody meander around 15, 20 minutes about one singular jump cut in a video that came out like 7 years ago.
Listen, man, technicals really poison the well with the way that people make these YouTube videos now. You can just be like, low tier god is a terrible human being, and then just make a bunch of like accusations in a video and be like, but how do we know that he's not a piece of shit? And it's like, that's what you're supposed to be proving to me in this video. What are you asking me for? I don't know. And I just, at this point, I just ignore shit like videos like that, especially when it comes to low tier god, because every other like video that you see on YouTube with that name in it is just somebody clipping his stream and then being like, yeah, I made low tier god mad in Street Fighter. Look at him rage. And it's like, who fucking cares at this point,
Right? But unfortunately, the FGC doesn't remain completely unscathed because then there's the entire Shinblade situation that's going on right now. And listen, I don't know Shinblade from Dollars and Donuts. Never been in the same room, never been in the same talks with the guy. But I remember the first time we brought this up. We didn't talk about it too much because there wasn't too much to talk about. But essentially, when you break it down to brass tacks, here's what we noticed. There was an accusation that he was a serial toucher and he was trying to get a grope on. And he just pulled out his penis and started getting weird in the back of a car. And the woman felt uncomfortable and came out and gave her expose of her story. He said that's not the case. That's not what happened. That is all a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Although the funny thing is, the only reason why this even really came out was because apparently Shadow 20 ounce teabagged him in a game. And he said, fuck you, Shadow. And then they came with the receipts. And it was like, pressing down on a D-pad is what instigated all of this. That's what set it off. Which, once again, to me, is insane. But that's how we got here. Then, a couple days later, there was a call where one of Shinblade's female friends and the victim, the alleged victim, were getting into a heated argument. And apparently that call lasted for 2 hours in which nothing productive got done. It was just a shouting match, people calling people ugly, people calling people shriveled penis people just yelling and screaming in a Twitter space for 2 hours.
Yep.
But nothing actually of any sort of concrete detail actually came up. And then a couple of weeks have gone by, and that's where we are now. A couple of other alleged victims have come out and said, yep, Shinblade got me too. Shinblade did this to me too.
So I've seen in at least one of the stories that someone said, like, I did bring this up to people. You know, this was not like something that was like held as like a secret or whatever. I did bring it up, and people just didn't believe me or whatever. And so now they're believing it because there's a bunch of other like similar stories being brought up. And from what I've seen, he's been banned from like a few events in some areas. But you know, obviously there's no like official like statement. Oh, Shinblade can't go to, you know, the Tekken World Tour, you know, that kind of shit.
Because some people said they came forward in 2020 with their experience of meeting Shinblade in 2018, back in 2020, and the harassment and slander and thrown about that she was lying and only wasn't just infuriating but disappointing. So there have been people who have apparently done this beforehand, but I guess they weren't at the time. They weren't big enough in terms of the content or the fighting game space to where their stories were actually heard by the people that could actually do something, the people who are in power. So several people were talking about that then. And apparently what they thought was $1 million idea was to force the alleged victim to sit in a call where Shinblade was allowed to interrogate and diminish my claims. He demanded an apology, which I declined, and there were witnesses to his actions as well as DMs. And after that entire ordeal, she says, I thought it was the end of hearing his name in any connection to things like this until now. Obviously, the few more victims that have allegedly stepped up. So it's really weird because Shinblade isn't someone who I think has the notoriety or the popularity level or the stroke in any of these FGC/esports companies, tournaments, etc. to be like, yeah, let's make a conspiracy to get him out of here specifically.
Right.
Which is why I was
It'd be a why now sort of situation.
Much less to have not just one, not just two, but several women who don't have connection to each other at all, by the way. Like, they don't roll in the same scenes. They don't roll in the same groups. You know?
You're right. It's... Listen, if you... The woman that said that it was like really frustrating that like so many people were just immediately like berating her and like constantly denying her claims when I mean what would be the motivation? Like she gains literally nothing from like making a claim against this dude who in most of these cases these were women who were not known as well as Shinblade, as far as like outside of their like local scenes or their like, you know, outside of like maybe like the FGC for like a certain tournament and stuff like that. Shinblade's name is known to some people now because of the viral video. But again, he's like you said, he's not popular enough for there to be like some kind of conspiracy to like ruin his life or whatever, especially now because I mean, what is out there that they're specifically trying to target? You know what I mean? Like, what specific thing is he doing that they're trying to ruin? It wouldn't make sense. So to see all the like weirdos that will come out and be like, nah, you definitely lying. There's no way he wouldn't do that. Blah blah blah. You know, this and that. She's got to be lying. Even now, after like all of the stories coming out, it's like come on, man, you got to accept that the dude, at the very least, was being kind of creepy.
Okay, so let me explain because I see some people in the chat may be a little confused. Basically, imagine I robbed a store, and you chat, you knew I robbed the store, but you never said anything, but you knew I robbed a store. held the clerk up at gunpoint and everything, right? Then, because I beat you in a video game, you start teabagging, or, you start teabagging me in the next round because you're winning now. You start teabagging. So I get frustrated and I say, fuck you. Now, because you teabagged and I said fuck you, you're now mad at me because I said fuck you. Now you go to the documentation. Is that why you robbed the store, sir? Like, a lot of this information was in the closet. People knew, allegedly, that he did the thing with whipping his dick out in the back of a car, but no one said anything. It was just the fact that the powder keg of them getting to the meat and potatoes was someone getting teabagged in a video game and the other party getting mad about it, and someone said, oh, I'll give you something to be mad at. Yeah.
Yeah, the catalyst was that, that person was told by the victim, who was like, his best friend, not to like say anything about it, and he was trying to respect her wishes, because to her, she was like, this is just one of those things, I'm over it. I don't want it to like become like a thing or whatever, because it's most likely just going to be a drama for people and not get taken seriously the way it should be. And she wasn't, she didn't feel like traumatized by it or anything like that. And she says that in her video when she talks about it. So like, I don't know, there were tensions between them that came up again, and like, the teabagging thing happened, and he was like, fuck that guy or whatever. And so that same dude gets in the chat and is like, why I was teabagging you. You know exactly why. Why don't you tell everybody? Why I was doing it. And
He's like, yeah,
he's silent.
You know I was teabagging you because you're a what? Go on, say it. I'll start off with the first syllable. You're a Ray. Come on, say it.
All right. So, yeah. After that, Shinblade plays dumb. I believe like he played dumb about it, or he just didn't really say much. And then Shadow says this is the reason why. And then his friend, who was the victim, like, he did that because he asked the girl it happened to, like, if it was okay for him to say it, and she said yes. And then she also made a video of her explaining the entire story from her end in detail. And now it's like a couple of weeks later, maybe like a month later, more people are coming out saying that, they've had similar stories. And some of them are saying, hey, when I brought this up, when I talked about this, when I tried to like report this as a thing that's happening, people like got mad at me for it instead of like listening to me or taking it seriously. So I'm only bringing it up now to help the person who, needs the support, so that people understand this is the thing that has been happening with this person, and something needs to be done about it so that people, feel safe, or feel safe in general. So yeah, it's a mess. I know some TOs have said that they're banning him. They're already going ahead and like banning him for what's going on, because they've done like the research on the situation and seen there's too many accounts for them to like take the risk. But yeah, it's wild that it came from a teabag, like it's wild that it came from like an online Tekken tournament and blew up into this right before Tekken 8 came out. So
hey man, this is almost as bad as the whole hey man, new game, new life from a few episodes ago. You remember Tekken 8 404 Esports School Shooter Man?
Oh, I don't even know if we like actually talked about that on stream.
We did.
But like
we did. I just specifically remember us getting to the part of reading that tweet that said, "New game, new lease on life, all sins forgiven," and I was like, that is definitely not how that works. But all right.
Yeah, weird. Look, people will convince themselves of whatever. I'm not here to be like, oh yeah, let's deep dive that.
Not the gatekeeper of logic over here.
Yeah, you can't do that. You'll explode from all the dumb shit that people do and say, especially on Twitter. But yeah, it really sucks that like so many people have had this experience with Shinblade. Yeah, the only thing that can really happen right now is TOs can like assess the situation, investigate how they want to investigate it, and then like move accordingly. Like if they don't want him at their events, they're allowed to do that. Um, I know he said something about taking legal action when this first came out. I don't know what is going on with that. I don't know how that's going to work, but it's definitely one of those things that will take a lot of time. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully this doesn't turn into like nothing and like
Like
he
I
just
really don't want this to end up being one of those things where it's like 6 months later, and we're still sitting here like, oh, so we have no plans on wrapping this up in any meaningful way.
listen. I know that most likely the victims in the situation are not expecting any kind of like legal justice to happen, but if it does, it's a bonus. I know specifically the woman who said that like she's only involved in the FGC because of her husband, and she was like she was a TO, I believe. Like she doesn't even play fighting games. She's like a shooting game person, and like she just like runs events because her husband is a part of the FGC and stuff. That woman was like, I don't even care about like whatever. I just want people to know that this is what happened, and that they need to like they need to pay attention and like be wary if they're in a situation where they're alone with this dude. Simple as that. And unfortunately, with situations like that, that's kind of what it ends up like stopping at.
Because you can't really do anything about it court wise, because if he lives in Vegas, the tournament where it happened at is in New York, and the only eyewitnesses are in Kentucky or something like that, whose laws and jurisdiction are you going to go by? Where the incident happened? The place of residence? Your place of residence? Their place of residence? The statute of limitations? Is it too far gone? And if he just whipped his penis out, you don't have any like hard evidence or proof. How do you prove it in a court of law outside of I saw it? Especially when there's people who clearly are the dude's friends who, by all accounts from outside sources looking in, are just as credible as the people you would call on, are going to say, nah, he wouldn't do that. So as far as like throwing the book at him legally, going that route, you don't really have anything.
Yeah. And that makes the situation like super complicated, unfortunately.
So the best that you're probably going to be able to get is, well, we looked at the code of conduct, we looked at some of the people and some of the testimonials, and we think some of the details match up. So then they suspend him for some for some indefinite amount of time. Because, like I said, unless you took a selfie of it happening, I'm being victimized, chink, or something like that. Like you don't have anything. So it's not like you. Even if they went to the police that night, there's a guy, he whipped his dick out at me. The cops are not going to be gung ho. Tell me where he is. Get in the car right now. Like it's not their MO. You can report it. And it's like, okay, then what happened? I walked away. Just pop a Zanny and have a good nap. Relax. And the police officer's gonna dap you up and be like, all right, we're going back to the precinct because they ain't got anything. That's more often than not what's going to happen.
Yeah. So it's complicated. It's in the hands of I guess his legal team, whoever is involved in that.
And it's at the discretion of the TOs on who they want to let in their gates.
Right.
And what they want to believe.
Right. So like, whether it's up to the TOs whether or not he's allowed to show up to events.
And here's the thing. It's not even like, this is where it kind of sucks to be a TO. Not necessarily in this situation. Because this situation, it ain't looking good for your boy old Shinblade. But in certain situations, why people ask, well, why aren't certain players banned at certain events? Because if you ban someone for something that is alleged, you now have to you open the floodgate of now having to take every single one of your customers at their word if something happened. And that's a slippery slope that a lot of businesses, especially because the FGC is not necessarily profitable in its tournament turnaround margin, as it is, they can't necessarily be shooing people away. However, if a lot of people believe that someone is a problem, even if there's no proof, you allowing that person into your gates could do bad for your business. Because people are like, you're letting this guy into your tournament? And that's enough. In some cases, that's enough bad PR already in this niche arena called fighting game tournaments that you can't afford to have. So sometimes, hey, bro, you got to take one for the team. Even though we don't have any proof, I got to put you over here in the you can't come column. Because me allowing you to come, especially if you're not someone who's putting asses in seats. Like, can we just, like, objectively on record, can we just say nobody's sitting into the venue going for Shinblade? Like, is that fair to say? Like, Shinblade is not amassing ticket sales so people can go watch Shinblade play.
Yeah, I mean, like, to my knowledge, I don't know. Like,
So, like, if you get a bunch of people saying that, they're not going to go because someone who's not moving the meter is going, then yeah, all right, we'll stop you from going, and then we'll go plus 32 on that. Or at the very least, keep the good PR. Because honestly, most tournaments, $80 ticket, and then the rest of the money is going to the hotel, food, and various other things that we're not making money off of. So yeah, sometimes that type of stuff is going to happen when you do business, especially when you're an event organizer. You got to be on your P's and Q's about this. And sometimes it's a judgment call. And especially when the accusations are this serious, it's much better to be safe than sorry. Like, if you end up finding out due to the legal representation of Shinblade that you're wrong, you can say, hey, we were wrong, and you can open the doors back up.
Yeah.
But if you let him keep coming and you're wrong, he could do it again at your very event. Or you could be like, look at you guys sticking with the groomers and the insert file here and all types of disparaging words. And it's not going to be a good look with you. So I do understand why there had to be a ban, even though there's not, quote unquote, concrete, downright, dastardly, caught red-handed levels of evidence. But once again, in these terms of crimes, you got to look at the fact that there's various people who came forward who don't know each other, not clicked up, not holding arm in arm, weren't even friends, some of them didn't even know the other people even existed. So it'd be weird to just target one guy all at once, all together, unplanned. That would just be an odd series of events to occur in quick succession.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, it's weird out there. Watch your friends, watch your people, protect yourself. Just because someone's got a bunch of followers or makes good content doesn't mean that you know them. Do not confuse you liking their content or what they produce as you liking them as a person. You don't know them as a person, silly. You don't know them. You don't know any of us. We could be Mr. X levels of criminal. Streets of Rage type shit. We could be the Mad Gear Gang ruining Metro City today. You would never know. But we appreciate you watching the show. Anyways. Yeah, good content doesn't mean good people. Parasocial relationships will ruin you all. Look at the completionist. Good charity he had going on over there.
Oh, man. You know what? Yeah.
I see it. He's hiding the money in his beard.
Oh, God. You know what's weird? Mudahar is kind of like, he surprisingly was like one of the main people who was like, it's like, we're going to stop the completionists from doing this. We can't just let our content creators do this shit. And Mudahar is now kind of like ruining his reputation by going down a more like conservative-esque like path with some of his talking points and things. And it's like, bro, man, you gotta calm it down. Like,
Listen, I have no problem with someone having a conservative lean. Some people who have conservative leans are still reasonable people. There are some people who have liberal leans who are still liberal. But just so you know, there is a pocket in the center there. It's a pocket.
Yep.
And when you come with outside that pocket on either side, just know I want you thrown in the loony bin. There's no more conversation we need to have. Now, I haven't watched a Mutahar video since the completionist stuff, so I don't know. What he's been getting up to recently. Because I used to watch Mutahar way back when like Some Ordinary Gamers was about creepypastas, LSD game, Sonic.exe, crazy dark web stories and ventures. Like that's what I liked. Then he said, well, if Keemstar's retiring, now's my time to shine. And I said, hey, brother, you got it. And I stopped watching that guy's channel. Not because I dislike him, not because I wish him some sort of evil curse and like the downfall of his, content. But eventually, when a network stops making what you want, you stop watching the network. And that's cool. Hey, man, you have all the power in the world. There are people who used to watch me because I used to have the biting commentary and I used to tear into people when they do stupid shit. But you got to understand, when I started growing up, I realized, no, these people are stupid. So I'm just not going to pay them any more attention. So there was no reason for me to make those videos because I'm not looking. I don't want to know. Y'all got it. So there's some people who watch my videos today and they still leave comments saying, when you're going to go back to making your rant videos about, various people. And that's what this podcast is for. Once a week, y'all get a small little drop. You get a drop. But that's about it.
Listen, it is very, very strange that we're like, that a lot of the people who made the like Gamergate like content have just like decided to go back to doing all that same shit now and think that nobody is just gonna like look and be like, hey, how to resolve this? You're lying. Like you're exaggerating. Like get that shit out of it. Like and so when you see that like what is it? Chew on Head is making some dumb video about Twitch thoughts, or Mutahar is making like a weird video with Keemstar about like Keemstar-esque like drama farming shit. You either ignore it or you're like, come on, man, like why are you doing this? Like comment that, be normal, bro. Like we're done with this. Why are you talking about Anita Sarkeesian? Nobody cares. Like that sort of thing. And I mean, it probably has like a huge bit to do with like Twitter.
Gamergate was hilarious, bro. I'm tell you that right now. I watched the first 3 episodes of Anita Sarkeesian shit, right?
Oh my god.
And I had watched it and I just done like it was like a review video where I just like kind of went over the points that I didn't like, and that was it. And I saw that I was getting some decent views from that, and I was just like, okay, I guess people thought there was going to be a sequel. Like I was going to do that for the entire series. I did not care about her series or her work to that degree. But then I saw what the comments were becoming. And I was like, y'all acting like y'all fighting on the front lines of the Gulf War. Like what's happening here? Y'all are acting like y'all are taking your last stand against the Anitian Empire. Like, no. A shitty YouTube critic made a shitty YouTube video. That's it.
I mean, yeah, but okay. So being on the outside, looking in or looking back, it's hilarious now. During the time, people were eating that shit up. Most of the people who were like deep into the YouTube spaces were like eating that shit up because it was mainly just people who wanted to believe the things that were being said. And most of it was like, so trying to take away the Pobies. I love from Soul Calibur. That kind of shit. And some of them trying to make these like faux intellectual like arguments that Anita Sarkeesian has this master plan to like ruin all male dominated spaces, especially gaming, because she hates gamers and men or something. And it was like,
Then it was so weird because then you had the dude that like everyone for some reason was taking as the gospel, and he was the gay guy that was a conservative who wasn't always gay, but then once he became a conservative, he said he wasn't gay no more. I forget his name.
Milo Yiannopoulos?
That guy. Then you
Hold
had
on. Let me look because I don't know if you know that he said this, but he literally said that he approves the old, I think it was like Roman practices of having sex with children. Like he approved of young men having sex with adults.
what?
Yes.
Oh nah, under the jail. Get this
He
cockroach
like
out of here. Oh my god.
that was like a platform of his for like a long time. During like his like Breitbart days, like he was like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I
Nah,
think,
bro.
you know,
Nah, bro. Skedaddle. He gotta go. He did not abort. Throw up the X.
now his thing
Throw
is
up the
that
X.
he's saved and he's not gay anymore, and it's like,
So what about because then there was a dude that apparently everybody in that like the guy that they hated. He had the generic white guy reporter hair swoop. Oh my god. He had a channel that had it wasn't always about gaming. I should say it wasn't primarily. Oh, I can't think of his name.
H Bomber guy.
No. Somebody he ruins everything. Adam?
Oh, Adam ruins everything.
Yeah, and apparently they were jumping all over him because he made a video, and I was just like,
Look,
this is just like y'all are just taking shots at everybody.
I mean, yeah. Like that's how you get the clout, man. You got to take shots at whoever is popular enough.
You know what, Dwayne Johnson? Let me stop. Amen.
Why do you think there are so many people who make Hassan bad, Vosh bad type like videos? Well, mainly Hassan bad, but like Vosh bad is those videos tend to have some like we're seeing now that there's some like there's too much truth in those videos. But like, you know, people who are like, I can't believe Hassan said this, and it's like Hassan being like, yeah, I think that the what Israel is doing to Palestine is a genocide. You know, it's like, sir, I know that this is for like the clicks for people to be like, yeah, I hate that guy. I'm mad that he's always on my timeline.
I'm mad.
You know, it's for those people to like give you money out of hatred or whatever. But like, this shit is dumb. It's like make better content, you know, make better content than, oh, I can't believe XUC said this, or you know, I can't believe Charlie from Moist Critical made such a huge mistake. Like, I fucking hate the YouTube like clickbait like meta right now so much because it's just so dumb. And of course the algorithm is going to like promote that stuff because it takes advantage of people not paying attention to shit enough to be like, oh, I've now stumbled into like a dumb video.
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you hate more? I gotta know. Which one do you hate more? The ones that have the big obnoxious text that say something like, avoid this mistake. And then like it's telling you the most basic thing, like, don't forget to breathe. Or do you hate the ones where it's just like, here's a content creator that's not going to show up in this video at all, but here's his face real big. So you click on it and it's not even their video.
I think the second one, because now it's become a thing where like that's the clickbait that you have to put in your like thumbnails and whatnot to get people to watch your video that could actually be a good video. Like good content creators are doing that shit now with some of their like thumbnails and shit. And it's just like, I know that you're doing this because it makes sure that the algorithm
you don't have
keeps
a choice.
pushing it.
For some people, if YouTube is your career, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, you have to do it that way. And that sucks.
Because listen, I don't really necessarily know if you want to clip this, but content creation is a lot like selling drugs. You think that I want to do fentanyl? No. But I know people will pay for fentanyl, so I'm making fentanyl. That's that. You think I want to make videos? They're like, oh my god, zip zop zooty bob, wow. No, I do not care to ever make a video like that. But I understand why you see so many YouTubers do reaction videos where they're flailing around, kicking their feet up, breaking their DX racer chairs, throwing their laptops around, going, "Oh my God, did you see that trailer? Wow!"
Oh.
Like we know why they do it. You have to understand why they do it. Or when they're playing in a game and they get shot one time, oh my God, and they're just throwing stuff all over the room. We know why they do it, because for as many of us, for every one of us who's like, all right, that's silly, and we keep scrolling, there's about 50 of them logging in right now to see I Show Speed go into a microphone, okay? So, yeah, you could say, I want some intellectual content, but you got to understand, especially if you're in the gaming space, a lot of your audience is going to trend younger. And if you've ever seen TikTok, I Show Speed, and various other content creators like XQC and Asmongold, they like a little crazy. They like a little fentanyl in their Snickers, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Look, I'm like slowly forgetting my point as I'm like thinking of how to word it because of how dumb all this shit is and how right you are about it. Like this, like the algorithm itself appeals to like usually the lowest common denominator, someone whose attention span is short enough to see picture and then be like, oh, I like this video, or oh, hey, I Show Speed, he's funny sometimes, and then they click on it. And unfortunately, that's not going to change because that's making YouTube money. And even though YouTube has like some of the like most annoying practices in terms of like people trying to make good content for the platform, like honestly, you have to play the fucking game if you want to like get anywhere. You have to make the clickbaity titles, the clickbaity thumbnails and shit. You have to do all of that, and then also like bother everybody to like watch your videos so that YouTube will be like, oh, I see, people like this content. All right, let's get it out there. But unfortunately, it makes it so that like your YouTube homepage is like a smorgasbord of like annoying shit that you might get tired of seeing, or like the same 4 to 5 content creators that you do like but see a lot of, because YouTube is like, hey, we see that you like this person, so we're just going to give you all of their content. Like, hey, you watched this video that was posted like 2 days ago? Here's a video of theirs from 2 years ago. Why don't you watch it right now? Oh, you've already watched it? Nah, just watch it again. Like, it's dumb. But YouTube is never going to be responsible for like fixing that because they're making money. Same with like Twitch and TikTok and whatever other platform you consume like content like that from, because people don't have to make good content to do well. In fact, they could do the opposite. They could just steal your content and they do better. So
listen. If you ever want to find out if I'm on hard times, I'm telling you right now, you will know because you will see me on TikTok and I will become the pointer. Subtle Frauds knows exactly the type of content I'm talking about. I will steal your content. I will put it above my head. And then I'll have the AI say, this guy's spitting. And then it'll be me at the bottom of the screen pointing up at your video that I stole. And it'll be you saying whatever it is that I once said. And then after the video's over, remember to like and subscribe. And then I'll give you the thumbs up. And it's like, but you didn't do anything. I'll tuxedo mask that. But you didn't do anything. Away. Go to the next video. Like, yeah. I will definitely be the Pointerino Magnifico.
Listen, there are people who just take XUC streams or like, I don't know, Misgift streams or whatever, and they just post them to YouTube. And those people probably make thousands of dollars off of YouTube because they get tons and tons of views.
There was the YouTube hacks guy that was telling them, oh yeah, so I just took Mr. B streams and XUC streams and just chopped them up and just uploaded them to my channel. And the passive revenue that I got out of it was a couple of grand a month.
Mm-hmm.
And until XQC or whoever's content I'm stealing asks me specifically to take it down, I won't. Because some of these content channels that do that, they operate. I don't want to make this sound like espionage, but they operate in the shadows, fam. The content creator has no idea this channel even exists. And what's funny, especially on platforms like TikTok, sometimes the people who stole the video get multiple times more more of the views than the people who actually made the video.
Oh yeah, that was there was like an esports organization that did that once that we talked about, where like they just took like Pokemon's content or like Ludwig's content. They didn't hone in on a specific person. They just took content from random like well-known YouTubers, streamers, whatever, and they just posted it on TikTok. And they were doing like better than I think some of those people's actual TikTok channels, if they even had a TikTok channel at the time. And it was just like, hey, you still have content, so like, what can you take that down, please? And then they were like, nah, or they just wouldn't respond or whatever. And like, hey guys, this person is posting my content, and they're not even responding to me about taking it down. They've never contacted me about it. They don't credit me or anything in it, and it's still up here. So why don't we do something about that?
Because, like I said, making live, like, not even just live content, even long form, regular pre-recorded content, it's really difficult when you make a video that's just the content's good. A lot of people don't care about the content at this point, especially the younger audience. They care about, does the content look good? I've seen videos that have gone viral and the motherfucker didn't say anything of any substance, any value, didn't give you any information, no inside tips, wasn't funny. But they had shit popping up and fucking zoom ins and somebody pulling out a phone and it zooms into the phone and then you're on the screen of the phone and big text. It's just like big cock Brock. And it's like, are we talking about Brock Lesnar? What the fuck is going on here? And then it's talking about like, and that is why I think Onyx is one of the top 5 Pokemon in Generation 1. Stay tuned next time, y'all. And the video just ends. And you're just sitting there like, what was just consumed in terms of content? 600K views. Which, if that's what the people want, at some point you got to realize that's what you got to make. I don't care how good your steak is. I don't care how good your filet mignon is. I don't care how good your cheeses and your distilled wines are. I don't care. If you're living in a sober, vegan town, you're not going to make any business slinging meat. We just got to understand that you might be in a vegan sector, so you got to make that vegan content. And by vegan, I do mean you better get to jingling them keys. If that's the audience you want. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't want the audience that comes with jingling those keys. You got to think about that. Are you prepared? Because I don't know if you guys saw the Kai Cenat video where that man took over New York and got arrested because too many people showed up to New York. Which is insane, by the way, when you think about it. You can say, hey guys, I'm showing up to New York, and New York has to shut down because you showed up? That's wild. That's crazy to me. But we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, so I think it's a good time to start shutting it down. Chat, I don't know if you have any closing questions, but the floor is y'all's for the next 25 seconds. Anything we see, we'll answer. But if you don't have anything within that time frame, we're going to be over and out. Appreciate you guys coming through as always. And the YouTube upload provided YouTube and Twitch actually communicate and actually get the stuff going instead of uploading it a week later. They should be up within the next 24 hours. So we'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And I'll see you guys next time. And don't ever quote that man in my chat ever again. You want to know what they said? Make sure you show up to twitch.tv/B+effort so you don't miss next week's episode live on the air.